Hello and welcome to the Augury House Radio. I am your host, the Augury House. Today we're going to be continuing some of the conversation from last week about the Augury House model. So we're just going to dig a little deeper into what we mean by model, and for that purpose, we're also going to be inviting on the show someone who doesn't know much about the Augury House, just so we can, kind of work through it from square one. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and talk with Devon DeVaughn, who is currently one of the exhibiting artists at our virtual gallery. And after that, we're going to meet back here, and we may or may not show you a little something special of like a project we're working on that may or may not make it onto one of the final, project installations, but yeah, so that's our basic layout today. Just conversation project, if you know what I mean. So first thing on the matter, we're just going to go ahead and take a call so we can start talking about the model. The first thing we have on our list, let's see here. Beep, 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 beep. This person, some people, the thing about the Augury House is we get a lot of callers and a lot of empty lines. I think that's a lot of spam callers, so I'm just gonna go ahead and see if this is spam or not. Hello, are you an advertisement person, or are you someone calling in for the sakes of
No, I'm calling in.
Oh, yours, okay, great.
Yeah, Chris Davis, UC.
Chris Davis, and you're not gonna be hitting me with an ad later? It's not gonna be
No, sir, I am cruising.
Okay, because I've had those part twos, where they're chilling and then they're suddenly in like an infomercial, but good to have you.
No, I get you. I'm getting a call from fucking Wilmington, DE. I don't even know where that is.
Oh yeah. Please don't make me join the call, but like, you can let that one ring out.
Ringing it out.
All right, great. So I was wondering, do you have any creative background or anything in the arts?
Well, you see here, I guess, not really, but I'm a driver, driving again, driving from Baltimore down to, Massachusetts, or up, I guess, some driving terrain. But yeah, so I drove a lot, and I recently started to pick up I found a old shitty video camera left at a truck stop, and I've picked that up, and I've started to make driving videos, and I consider it art because it's something I do every day. It's like traveling.
Yeah. Well, that's
Do you
great.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's actually a perfect analogy or segue into the topic of the day, which is about the Augury House model, right? So to kind of start off,
Okay.
yeah. So kind of starting off with
I'm gonna park my car.
yeah, sure, dude. But do it somewhere safe. So I don't wanna get anyone in trouble. But yeah. So like the Augury House model is, well, first we have to define a model, right? So we can just start talking based off of the video camera you got right there. So if you think back like 60, 50 years, if you wanted to do anything in film, you would kind of have to be in a film crew, right? They didn't really have video cameras you could go picking up in porta potties and restrooms, kind of like what you did or whatever. So that's like one of the
No,
big
sorry.
yeah. So that's like one of the big changes. Is that fact? As technology develops, more models for how you use the technology naturally arise. So, at first, if you wanted to do like at the start of film, at the start of the century, the 19th century, if you wanted to do film, you'd have to be working in a film studio. But nowadays, you can find a video camera anywhere, and you can start making short films on the go, kind of like what you're doing. Or, even further than that, people on phones use their own phones to make like short clips, short videos for social media. So, there's like a whole new range of models for how you can use video. You don't have to just be a filmmaker to use video. So that's kind of what we're talking about model, is the difference between you, who's shooting on the go, versus someone who's at a movie studio, versus someone who's just shooting little shorts on their phone. It's the
Yeah,
same
you see,
medium.
that's the thing. I'm always shooting on the go. I'm shooting in bathrooms, I'm shooting on the side of cliffs, I'm shooting out of my car, I'm shooting the dinner I'm eating in my car. I'm always on the go and shooting, like you said.
Yeah, so like, I love to see what you shoot sometimes, but like, I don't know, like, it's good hearing from you, but sometimes I get a little worried when people are shooting too many things in the bathroom, if you know what I mean.
You know how to shoot it.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, but to get back to the, so what I was saying about the model. So you kind of get what I was saying about the video model, right? Little
yeah,
bit.
I get the video model. It's like you said, it's like a paper airplane model. It starts like nothing, but then now you go to the store. There used to be the just those. I guess this is how I thought about it when you were talking is when you want to build, a paper airplane before, and you had to build it with wood. But now you could go to the store and they have all those fancy model kits, and then you could build it for free. And it's easier now. So I guess that's how I'm seeing your model thing with video.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh, so another thing I was wondering about is, about video games? You play any video games?
Uh, I can't play video games. I'm always driving. I listen to video games though.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Listening to video games is all just fine, but so if you listen to them, then you probably understand a little bit about the game model, right? So the timeline of games, for instance, what they do for development, how that goes through, uh, how like the interactions within video games, how you expect to have your menus, you expect to have your little tutorials and things like that. Just like the model for games, how games are presented, where you find them, so on. You're familiar with like the video game model?
Oh yeah, I understand. I've played a lot of video games, Asteroids. Yeah. Beginning, middle, end. Yeah, games have that.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
know.
yeah.
That's like what it was. That's yeah, games.
Yeah, so to make this a little simpler is like what the Augury House is trying to do is we're just drawing like a straight parallel from like the game model, and we're just kind of building our little counter based off of that. So for instance, our Augury House model is a little unique because it differs on the basis of the timeline, right? Our timeline is a little more quicker and more flexible because we deal with shorter collabs. We do quick collabs. We're more interested in, finding people who maybe they don't have any experience doing digital things or putting the work on digital spaces, or maybe they do. But the point is, we want to see their idea through. So instead of having like a big lofty goal of completing out a narrative, like a game narrative or something like that, ours is more about facilitating the process of collaboration, if you know what I mean. So, so another part of that is like our endpoints different than like a game model. So like the Augury House model, instead of having the ending where where we have like a complete game in the sense of beginning, middle, end, and features and so on. Our endpoint is more along the lines of if our project hits critical mass, if you know what I mean. So, if we take this all into account, our projects are based off of small collaborations with a wide range of people, and the endpoint is simply determined when we have too many collaborations in the space, there's too many Easter eggs, too many secrets, and at that point, all we have to do is just close the project and start another house-like model after that. So it's a very simple community-driven work, if you know what I mean. So our model is really centered around the collaboration, and the endpoint's centered around collaboration as well, too. So that's basically the gist of the Augury House model, if that makes sense for you.
Oh, okay. Okay, okay. Okay. Okay.
Okay.
So, at the. Oh, I see. So it's not about my work that you care about. You don't care about my work. It's you're just giving me a place to present it.
No. Yeah, well, no, yeah, but I might care about it, depends if, if I like it, but liking something and, having something is two things, but I usually like a lot of things, so, like, on a
No,
basis,
no, you'll like my videos. I know you'll like my videos.
yeah, I don't wanna, but, yeah, sure,
Yeah,
sure,
bye,
yeah,
bye, bye. Yeah, yeah.
yeah, but, okay, yeah, let's just say I like the videos, but yeah, that's all we're about is really just fostering that exchange of ideas and that the deep experimentation that comes with just playing around in that digital space. So yeah, I really do invite you to, if you're interested in joining this model of collaboration and of, just sharing ideas and growing through these collaborations. And I really invite you to join some of our collaborations. Like we have a bunch of easy to access collaborations. Like we got this, like the gallery, for instance, where you can work with us to make a little gallery show, and we're happy to accommodate if you have any ideas for a short scene or little special effects to go on with your exhibition. So we're happy to accommodate like that. And if you do the gallery and you like what we have, we'll also have like a whole other range of other possibilities for collaborations. Like you can put something on our house walls, or we have a miniature little neighborhood that you can take over one of the houses or anything like that. So we're really open to anything and everything when it comes to the collaboration. So yeah. Were you thinking of submitting any videos to our shows?
Yeah, I have something in mind, you see. It's actually been something of a growing obsession going through the years. I told you I used to be, I am a driver, I guess you could still say, but I used to drive, but my truck and trailer just got filled up with all the tapes from this camcorder, you see.
Oh, shit,
So
camcorder.
that's what it is. Yeah. Nobody is leaving behind anything special. Plus everybody's got that find me iPhone shit.
Oh,
Um, so stealing one of those isn't the safest nor the smartest bet, but yeah, I have plenty of footage. I shoot all the time. I love it more than anything. That's why I can't get a house. It's because I spend too much on camcorder.
wow. Yeah, I guess, uh, chase your passions, man. Like,
Well, um, my foot's itching here, so I'm probably gonna have to get heading back on the road. I appreciate you letting me call in to the radio station. I will
yeah,
definitely keep in touch.
most definitely. Yeah. Thank you, and yeah, thanks a lot for calling, and I think we got a lot of ground covered in terms of what we're talking about and the subjects on hand.
Rodney. It was Rodney.
Ronnie, yep, yep. Uh, yeah. So Ronnie, I hope you have like a good time driving up and down, driving side to side, shooting a lot of that footage. I really hope your vehicle doesn't catch fire because you know that those reels would kind of go up, wouldn't they? Or maybe that was just in the movies, but anyways, I hope you have a good day, Ronnie, and I hope I'll see your submission someday in the Augury House Gallery. And I guess for with that, I'll be talking to you later.
Okay, thank you.
All right, and that was Ronnie, who was calling in from driving up and down, side to side, all across diagonals in the United States, shooting video. You might find him in his car shooting video, of course, driving to the next location, or you might find him shooting in a bathroom near you. So keep your eye out for Rodney. I'll certainly keep an eye out for a submission. But yeah, so that was our quick little conversation with Ronnie. To give just like a slight recap of what we're talking about is the Augury House model is we're centered around quick collaborations with wide ranges of people. Our timeline is quick and flexible, and our endpoint is just simply determined if the project hits critical mass, that being too many things in one space, or the project size, or if the project size just gets ridiculous, if you know what I mean. But yeah, that's it with this segment, and from here we're just gonna send it on to our gallery folks, Kevin, the gallery guy, and Devon DeVaughn, our gallery guest, who is currently showing their work at the Augury House Gallery. After that, we'll be back here to catch up and kind of touch bases before heading over to next week. So, thanks for tuning in, and without further ado, I'm going to send it over to Kevin and Devin.
Oh yeah. Thanks, Augury House. Hey, I'm Kevin, like the gallery guy, and I am with Devon DeVaughn, who's a part of our first gallery exhibition. Um, so yeah, I know Devon. We did our MFA together at the University of Oregon. Uh, Super excited to have you here. So like, if you want to introduce your work, that's totally cool. But like, uh, if you want, I could start too. So either way, whichever way you're feeling.
Yeah, I can go. That's fine.
All right.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm really excited to be a part of this. It's nice to be a part of something art related after grad school for once, because I've kind of had my art brain off for a while. Um, but yeah, so I have that video in the Augury House Gallery, and basically it's just my dog licking my husband's back for a million years for like 3 minutes or something like that. And it's called Scratch My Back and I'll Lick Yours. And I guess where I got the inspiration from that, well, there's a couple places. And also my work also comes from a very personal place. So it's very specific to myself. I apologize, but this is just where I was coming from. So basically at the time, there was a lot of mental health struggling on my end, and I was just very thankful for all of the support systems that I had for myself, namely my husband, who I was living with, and my dog. And so there was this nice little moment that happened pretty frequently at our house where our dog would just constantly lick our skin. And it seemed like it was a comforting habit to him, because I don't know, it wouldn't matter if we were like, if we had just showered, or if we hadn't bathed for a couple days, or if we had just worked out, or if we were pretty stagnant. Like, it didn't matter how sweaty or nasty or clean we were. He just kind of licked us, and it seemed like it was a coping mechanism of some sort, because he was stressed a lot in the house. We lived in an alleyway, so he would hear all these noises and we'd get freaked out. But I really like this moment where Blake was kind of laying on the couch and Poe was licking his back constantly. And I just started recording it. I was like, oh, this kind of makes me feel like I kind of relate to this in a way, you know, um, feeling comforted by the presence of another person and like interacting, even if it's just sitting in the same room together. And so I called it Scratch My Back and I'll Lick Yours. And basically just thinking about, um, being very grateful for the support that I'm receiving and kind of feeling like I need to go above and beyond for that support system to show them how grateful I am. So that's kind of the absurd response of lick yours instead of like scratch my back and I'll scratch yours or whatever. Um, and then I also really like the obsessive quality to it, where Poe is just licking constantly. Poe's my dog. I don't know if I mentioned that. He was just licking constantly and constantly. And didn't know at the time, but I was dealing with undiagnosed OCD. So I think that kind of fit in pretty well with that. But really just thinking about themes of being thankful and like absurdity. And there's also this kind of desperate nature to it. Um, but yeah, that's where that video came from. And that was towards the beginning of me creating my thesis work, where a lot of it was based on domesticity, and dogs were a very prevalent theme in it as well, and thinking about mental health and not even necessarily thinking of struggling with mental health as a negative thing, but just as something that's there, and thinking of being better mental roommates with yourself and finding the absurdity and humor in it. Humor is really important to me. It's kind of been a coping mechanism for a long time for dealing with anything that I deem negative or difficult to come my way. And it kind of takes those things down a notch and puts it more on your level. It's like, oh, this is more approachable now. I can kind of look at it from a different way. Um, but yeah, I think that video was definitely a turning point in kind of setting the tone for what I want my work to feel like. And then in terms of now, gosh, I haven't made anything in a while. I guess I was making these contour line drawings of my dog while I was bored at work. It always keeps coming back to my dog, but very excited because I'm about to have access to a studio space again. And I worked as a florist for a little bit before finding the job that I'm currently at. So I want to incorporate like live plants into my work, which is kind of a cliche, I think, at this point, but I want to try and find a way to do it just because it was a really enjoyable job. So I want to include that. I don't know. I just want to keep experimenting and doing goofy things and just having fun with it, especially now that we're out of grad school and can't actually have fun with it.
Yeah.
So, anyway, I guess that's my spiel.
Cool. Yeah. Well, like the one thing that I'm curious about, the humor part, or when you're
Mhm.
talking about fun,
Mhm.
because it's like now that I'm moving, or I'm like, living with family right now, we have the two cats,
Mhm.
and it's like uh the fun there, or it's like a weird latent kind of fun,
Mhm.
or it's not like, like watching a comedy or playing,
Yeah.
like like actively engaging in like a game, but
Mhm.
it's like a kind of fun where you wake up, you open the door, you see like fur on the ground, and it's just like,
Mhm.
what the fuck, but it's like a regular thing, but if you choose to engage, it's just like, did they get in a brawl? But you could like just as easily sweep it up.
Right.
But it's like, I feel like your work is like the engagement part of that, like, because you
Mhm.
had in your thesis work you had like Poe with the uh the the milk jugs,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then you did your face masks at that one point.
Right. Yeah. I think the fun part for me was just giving myself the permission to just do menial tasks and relishing in them, I guess. And also in a way giving up control because I'm very control oriented. So um giving those milk jugs for my dog to chew on was a small way of giving up that control. Or the face masks, like I don't know what it's really gonna look like when I peel it off my face. And just allowing myself to enjoy not knowing what an outcome is and allowing myself to not, I don't know, perfect something or have something look perfect. Um, and that's something that I really liked about my work was just it didn't look perfect. It looked, I don't know, like the quality of craftsmanship. I'm not saying that I'm purposely not trying to, create quality craftsmanship things, but it's not something that's at the forefront of when I'm making something. Like, I don't need something to look really polished. I just need something to look to portray what I want it to portray a feeling through how it looks. It doesn't need to be the perfect item of that. It just needs to have the essence of it, I guess. Um yeah, I guess I'm more concerned about how people feel about my work than how my work looks in a way. Which those
Mm,
things are inherently tied together, but I think the emotional and mental response to that is more important to me.
yeah, and it seems like it's easier to see like the effort if like
Mhm.
something's kind of not like super polished,
Mhm.
or it's like more accessible to be like, oh shit, they, that was like a little problem spot probably because
Yeah,
there's like a little thing there. But
right. Yeah, and I mean, even when I was putting my thesis work up, um, I remember I had this big long extension cord running under the rug to this video that was playing on an old iPhone or something under this pillow fort that I made. And I remember at the site where it entered underneath the rug, there's a huge lump there. I was like, that doesn't look very good. So I just tried to make it part of the installation itself. So I had these carpet fibers kind of running along the edge of it. And I kind of just made it like this weird abscess in the corner of carpet pus, I guess. I don't know. But it was fun just trying to problem solve. And I do remember when I was putting everything together, it wasn't turning out how I thought it was going to in my head and really freaking out about that. But again, just allowing myself to give up control a little bit and just kind of work with the space instead of having the space work for me. It was really important. And I think that's kind of just that's that's how the work was very helpful to me, is just allowing myself to learn to give up sometimes.
yeah, wait, so I'm curious. So your your thesis work was like very home oriented. So
Hmm.
is this new studio you're talking about? Is this like a home studio?
Yeah, it's in my new house that I just got.
Oh, so I wonder if that's like is your I wonder if is your relation, do you feel like your relationship to your work's going to change because of being set at home?
Mm, maybe. I know the things that I've been thinking about still are very like personal and I guess in a way mundane and very everyday. Um, I was thinking about home one one thought that I was having. I was thinking about snail shells and how I don't know, their homes change so often because like I think of the shell as their home and you'll find empty ones sometimes and sometimes you'll find the snail inside of them and just I don't know. I was also thinking about shells being a part of the coast where I used to live in Oregon. Um, and then I want to grow flowers out of a shell from the flowers from Missouri or whatever. I don't know. It's very in the works and it's all just in my head right now. I haven't worked any of these ideas out, but just thinking about like what qualifies as home and what makes a place a home and that kind of thing. So who knows? It could change into like astrophysics or something from being in a studio at my house. I don't know. I have no idea. But I think it'll be nice to just kind of allow myself time to play and have fun, especially now that my studio is so close to me. So,
Cool. So I like how you're talking about like the shells and the flowers.
mhm.
It's like, do you think of it in like a sense of making a record of like where you're at in
Yeah, I
history?
think so. Or like bringing two places together that normally would never exist next to each other. Um, but yeah, I do really like record keeping. And I think, I mean, mental health has been a part of my work for a while now. And I think mental health is very much a record of like what you've experienced throughout your life. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I like record keeping though. I'm actually getting a lot of things in the mail from family in California. They keep sending me family history records. And I always think that kind of thing is really interesting. And old photographs of people I don't even know, but they've been in my family. And it's just interesting to look at how things change over time and how things stay the same. And looking at my dad's face when he was my age, and then looking at his face when I go over like tomorrow or something to watch a movie with him, and just seeing how things have affected how things age over time, I guess.
Mm, yeah, and then it's like I feel like that sort of history, or the gathering of history in that sense is like so close to uh is almost like so close to fantasy,
Mm-hmm.
because it's like that's how, I don't know, like that's how when I look through old pictures or things like that, it's like you're automatically running a million scenarios that like didn't happen,
Right.
but it's like they're also kind of are happening in like a weird way. It's like a puzzle piece.
Yeah.
It's like it's like small scale folklore. It's
Yeah, it's
fun.
like myth making. And I know that was at one point that was really important to what you were doing in your studio. You were taking these like myths from your family and whatnot, if I remember correctly.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I think mundane myths are really cool.
Yeah, I really like those too. Of just
Mhm.
like, something random happening. It doesn't even have
Mhm.
to amount to anything, but
Right.
like, yeah. Wow. Oh, I forgot to ask. Did you have any time that you needed to hop off? I was gonna set a timer if needed.
Oh, no, not in particular, no.
Oh, okay.
It's my day off today.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, you're good.
Yeah, because one thing I wanted to to mention was, it's like, in retrospect, you know, looking back just like at the MFA years, like
Mhm.
one thing that really stood out was, just in our day-to-day studio of just, going to the studio, teaching courses,
Mhm.
going to courses and stuff. One thing that was like always pretty consistent was that like if you're in the studio, your door was cracked, you
People
know?
would come in and say hi.
Yeah, yeah, but then it's like there are also times where you're like very much deep in a rhythm,
Uh-huh.
or like deep doing something with a carpet, or like doing something with a face mask, that is like you check it out, but then you kind of like, you just like you're
Wait, did
like
you do
let it
that?
happen.
Did you
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And just like peek in and be like, holy shit. And then just kind of like you know
I never realized you would peek in and then dip out because you
like,
thought I was busy.
yeah. But it's like it was like a very it looked like you're in like deep meditative like, you know, tinkering or
Uh-huh.
like making something.
Yeah.
So like that seemed like, I don't know, that seemed like an interesting part
Mm-hmm.
of like the whole experience of the work, was this like the was seeing it in practice, of just seeing, of like going
Yeah.
to the studio, checking it out, but also the times of just like, oh my God, and then like,
Yeah.
slipping away.
That's so funny. I'm really glad you shared that. That's really interesting. Yeah, because I mean, I feel like I've spent the last 3 years kind of meditating on like the goings on of my brain and just kind of using the work as a way to find peace with it, I guess. Um, I don't even know if that's the right word to find peace. Just like to understand it more, I guess. Because there are days where it definitely doesn't feel peaceful, but I'm more okay with it now. It's just like it's just how it is. Um, but yeah, I think that's also why a lot of my work was very repetitive, like the that wall piece where I wrote cuddle coddle a bunch of times over and over, or like where I was carpet shaving, or I sewed a bunch of those things only to stuff them in a hamper or whatever. Because I view, repetitive actions as like a form of meditation. Um, because you're just studying the same thing over and over and over again. And a lot of times it's really like mindless. You don't have to think about it a whole lot. So your mind kind of wanders off into other directions. And then you think about something else for a long time, um, and kind of ruminate on that. So it's like your brain and what your body is doing are in two different places, but they're mimicking each other by thinking about it over and over and over again. So it's kind of cool that your mind and your body can be two different places at the same time.
Yeah. So do you like regularly meditate?
Mm, not anymore. I used to. I mean, I guess I do mindfulness practices if I'm like struggling with my brain on certain days, but I don't know. I think mostly I try and get out of my head most of the time because I think a lot of times we kind of exist in our heads mostly and we kind of forget about the body a lot. Um, and usually when we refer to ourselves as I or me, it's mostly like what's going on up here and it kind of ignores the rest of the body. So I guess if anything, I just try and do mindfulness stuff and try and bring myself back to the body and what I'm experiencing with my senses, because I think that's a very important part of how we experience the world. We just kind of don't give it much precedence because I think we've been trained to um, just pay attention to all the loud stuff going on in our heads instead.
So it probably helps having a Poe around for that too.
Oh
For just,
yeah.
like licking all the
Oh
time.
yeah. Oh,
It's just
I hate that noise. I hate it so much. Especially when we're sleeping. I'll wake up out of a sound sleep because he's slurping so loud. I'm like,
oh my,
this
just
is
slurping skin.
disgusting.
Wow.
Um, but yeah, he's great because he's just very much a sensorial being. Like he experiences everything through his body. Like his favorite time of day is when he gets food because he's so food motivated and like same. I love food. That's my favorite time of the day is when I get to eat dinner. Um, and I mean, obviously, he's his own little individual being, but I do definitely kind of see myself through him a lot. Like, oh, I should be more like Poe right now. I should just like chill and sit in the sun on this comfy pillow and just
Yeah.
enjoy myself.
Yeah. So how's Poe been doing through like the moves? Has he been pretty chill?
He's been freaked out. I mean, he's been okay for a while because we've been in the same place for a while now, but he really hates change, which I
Ah.
can relate.
Uh-huh.
Um, yeah, he gets really freaked out. We were moving our stuff yesterday into our new house, and he was kind of trying to figure out what was going on. He was up where everyone was upstairs trying to figure out why people were moving stuff out of the door. He's very good though. He didn't try and run out the door or anything, and it was left open for a long time because we had a bunch of stuff we were moving in and out. But he was just sitting there and watching, um, which I feel like is kind of smart for a dog to just like sit and observe and try and figure out what people are doing. But it's also like a survival thing. It's like, okay, what should I expect next? So, but yeah, he's chilling right now. He has a little pillow on the ground because we moved a couch out from this basement into our house. So he's just been chilling on a pillow on the ground in the sun.
Gotcha. Yeah, it
Mhm.
seems like there's some pets that can be closer to like the human slider, if you're
Yeah,
because
he's like
like
a toddler. It's so weird. He's like weirdly smart for a dog. Um, the one of the funniest things he does is he'll see like another animal on the TV and he notices it and he starts barking at it. It's like, you don't belong in this house. This is my house.
whoa.
Or he has a favorite song too. Did you
Oh
ever
yeah,
see
yeah,
his
yeah,
favorite
yeah.
song?
He would just like
Yeah.
run from the other room and
Yeah, he runs from the other room to listen to it and he has to get like right up on the source of the sound and just stare at it and he tilts his head back and forth. Um but yeah, he's a smart little guy. It's kind of weird how human like he can be sometimes.
yeah, it's like it's like so different or it's so weird personality wise. Like
Yeah.
when you have one dog or like an animal that bolts and then like another that just rather be inside.
Yeah. He's
It's
very much an inside dog.
oh, it
He knows where
doesn't
food
like
comes from. He's like, I don't want to miss out on dinner tonight. I'm not trying to be outside in the cold. We had some snow here this week, and I remember the day after it snowed, I opened up the door so he could go to the bathroom, and a little gust of wind blew in his face, and he ran back inside. He was like, I'm not dealing with this
oh
cold.
my
I
god.
cannot.
He needed like that's too funny.
And he gets to the point if it's too cold and there's snow on the ground, he gets to the point where he just like holds his poop in. So he has a litter inside. He's a
Like a
little
cat
dog, so
box?
he can just like go pee. Yeah, kind of like cats. Um, and he'll go pee in the litter, but he doesn't like to poop in it because he eats it and it makes him sick.
Uh
So he understands enough that he can't resist the temptation of eating his own poop so that he just won't poop inside.
oh, gotcha.
Um,
Jeez.
but yeah, he held in his poop and then like last night or something, he just couldn't hold it anymore and there's just poop everywhere. And I'm like, oh my God, just poop outside. It's fine. But
Oh my gosh. That's fun. So wait,
yeah.
one thing I just remembered was sorry to get back onto or to like change the subject,
Oh no,
but
you're good.
like I just remembered the snail mail thing.
Yeah, I was thinking about
Like
that today.
is it like is that was that a you consider that that's part of your practice, right? Like
Yeah,
snail mail for
yeah,
the community.
it was definitely about like maintaining relationships in a time where it was definitely very difficult to do so.
Yeah, that was
Um,
like
because
like
that was at the start of
COVID. Yeah, yeah,
COVID.
the start of it.
Yeah, and I don't know, I was just really sad about not being able to like be in people's studios and just see what they're doing and talking to people regularly. So I just wanted to send little letters and bits of art, kind of. I don't even know if all of it was art really. Like sometimes it was just like a flower or whatever. But I think the practice of sending mail and like having a rotating list of, okay, you get to mail this person this week, um, mail whatever you want, just like to keep in touch and maintain this community that was very difficult to maintain, at least at the time. It was really nice. And I'm really glad that so many people participated. I didn't expect that many people to participate. So I don't know. I was thinking of starting something up again. But I would just have to get people involved.
Yeah,
But
because it was like between that and the dog posters,
Yeah.
like those.
Yeah.
It almost felt uh, like a little fantasy neighborhood space
Yeah.
because of like these signs, like like the mail thing, and then
Hmm.
like the home. So I don't know. That was just like a cool little like it like an
Yeah.
ecosystem, or like a little the
I
ways
just
you explored.
Yeah, I really enjoyed just having other people involved in an art practice because I think art is considered so precious that people don't want to interact with it other than just like looking at it. Um, I've always really hated that part of art. So I tried to make stuff that was at the very least accessible to other people. Um, but that they could also interact with. And that's part of why the carpet was in my thesis work. Just like having walking on my installation was great. Like, please step all over my art, like kick things on accident. And like a lot of people I think did because I made groundwork essentially. So people would accidentally knock something over, or when I had that carpet shaving pile in the middle of the carpet in my studio, like people would accidentally like kick it out of the little shaved spot that I made for it. So then part of my work was also like putting that back inside. And at first, like I remember when that first happened during open studios, I was like, God, why can't people just look where they're going? But why do people need to stare at those shoes the entire time? And that's not where most art is made, at your foot, you know. Um, so I was like, oh, this is kind of nice in a way. Like it's just human error. And then also the act of maintaining is really interesting. It kind of goes back to that meditative practice. Um, but yeah, I love when people interact with work. It's really fun.
That's kind of funny though, the carpet thing. So is this like
Yeah.
just invisible enough,
Yeah.
or is like like I guess we see carpet all the time. So
Yeah. We don't think to
is
look
this,
at it.
huh? That's funny.
Hmm.
Did the hmm? Or I guess, do you know if that happened during like the ditch, where it's like gallery?
No, I don't think so. Um, yeah, no, I didn't. I thought I was gonna shave the carpet during setup, but obviously that's not enough time. So I, I ended up not having shaved carpet during that show, which was fine. Um, but yeah, that's something that I've played around with a bit because there was also that one. Um, oh, what was it called? It wasn't critique class. It was the other thing that we had to
Was
do.
that IMP?
Yes.
Oh, that one,
Oh
yeah.
God. It was when we had Rick, I think, and I had something behind the door, and people would just like open my door and hit it, and they'd be like, "Oh
Oh
my
yeah,
God, did I
oh
break
yeah.
something?" Like, no, that's just part of it.
That was a heavy door too.
I
Like
know.
that was like an incredibly so.
So heavy, unnecessarily heavy.
Yeah, it's just like you get like squished on the way out.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I got squished a few times, or at
Oh yeah,
least,
I think everyone
yeah,
did.
just
That
like
door was so heavy.
yeah,
But yeah, just like involving accidents in my work is really fun. Um, I don't know, as especially as a part of a final product, having it be an accident waiting to happen. I
yeah,
don't know. There's something kind of like exciting about it. Like it makes me giggle when people do it and they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. It's like, no, you're doing exactly what the work is meant to be doing. Like you're just being a person in a space and something happens and that's okay.
yeah, and that's like, I feel like that's like what it's like to enter someone else's house. Is like,
Hmm.
they have a bunch of
Of
underlying
rules.
system rules, but it's
Yeah.
like it's not no big deal if you break them, because
Yeah.
you,
You
you
don't
don't know the
know.
rule.
You
Yeah,
don't know.
it's like I felt like the pillows and like
Yeah.
the butt hair,
Yeah.
like that. Like it was like is this just a pillow, or is this like a shrine? Is this like,
Right.
But
Right.
yeah, it's fun when the guilt gets involved, or
Yeah,
because
yeah.
it's like there's nothing really, but you still feel like that jolt feeling.
Yeah. It's not like you're breaking some $1 million vase or anything. You're just knocking over a pillow. Like it can easily be put back.
Yeah, and I guess that's why that door worked so well, because it was so
Mm.
freaking heavy
Yeah. And I
and
think the pot that I put behind it was just like plastic too. So I was like, this was here before I even moved into the studio. I really don't care. But yeah, I think that was my first run in with using accidents as part of my work. Um, so more important than I thought it was at the time.
yeah, it's like as visceral as like fear in a way,
Hmm.
like as like a jump scare,
Yeah.
but it's
Yeah,
still like
yeah.
very
Yeah, when a room full of artists are like, "Oh my god, I
yeah,
love
yeah,
the art."
yeah.
No, it's fine. Break it,
Yeah.
I don't care.
I remember watching that happen, just being like, damn, I'm glad I didn't do that. or, it's, or it's like it's like I don't know, like yeah, guilt and accidents. It's
Yeah.
funny how it ripples out, even if you didn't do it. Like there's still that relief,
Yeah.
like hell yeah, like that wasn't me.
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, no, I watched people come in the door after the first person did that, and they would barely open the door to not hit it. Um, it was just really interesting, kind of watching people impose rules upon themselves that I
Yeah.
never said anything about. Um, and I think that that's also really fun. It's just like not establishing rules because I remember I was in a class where I was kind of making the precursor. It was where I was doing installation for the first time, and someone came into my little installation that I made for the class, and there was a bed spring on the ground, and someone set like a Coke can or something inside one of the springs, and the teacher was like, it was Tanaz, and she was like, should they be doing that? I was like, I don't care. She's like, you need to set rules for your space. I'm like, do I though? It's kind of fun when you don't. Just see what people do.
Yeah, it's like a choreography,
Yeah.
or it's like the person comes in already like kind of it's like you have to be careful, but it's like you're
Yeah.
gonna make what you feel like is a mistake, and then
Yeah.
you kind of have to, it's like you're easing into it. It's
Yeah. Or like, it kind of reminds me of that story of I think someone put like a Coke can in a gallery somewhere, like in a corner, and people thought it was art, and so they started looking at it like it was art, and then people just followed suit. It's like, I don't know, you come into a space where you think you know the rules and then you actually don't. I don't know. Because there's a set of rules that come with a gallery, generally speaking, but that's only from preconceived notions of what you're expected to do in a gallery, because what the artist expects you to do could be very different from what you think the gallery expects you to do. And I mean, usually you don't have the artist there to kind of guide you through that. Um, and I don't know, I think there's a lot of exciting things that can happen when you just don't know the rules for something and you kind of just start making up rules for yourself.
mm-hmm. Yeah. Jeez, yeah. That is fun as hell. That has got me thinking about, or I don't know, it's just like now I wonder about the game, because like that's all essentially rules that you're,
Mhm.
it's like, I might have to rethink some things.
Oh, completely scrap everything, redo.
Yeah. Screw it. The whole thing.
That's funny.
Ooh, so
Yeah.
just FYI, it's over an hour if you needed to, go somewhere or do anything.
Okay.
But
Yeah. I may head out here. I didn't realize it had already been an hour.
Yeah, it went by really fast.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so let's see here. Uh, if you want, we can slowly make to wrap up.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so do you have like, I know you have a website, or is there any
Yeah.
place like where we can see updates of your work when they come?
Yeah, so my website is devondevaughn.com. And then I update that just kind of whenever I make something and feel like it's complete enough to show on the website. But if you want to see in progress stuff, you can always follow me on Instagram, and that's just at Devon DeVaughn. I may pop up as Devon Bodenhammer because that's my legal name, but it's me. So right now I've just been posting a lot of pictures of my dog. So if you like French bulldogs too, it's a great place to hang out. But yeah,
Sweet. Thanks, Devin.
thank
It's
you.
great having
Kevin.
you on.
Yeah, thank
All
you for
right.
having me. It was so nice to talk to you again.
Yeah, nice seeing you too. And then I want to end.
Hey, we're back. The conversation you just heard was between Kevin, our gallery guy, and Devon DeVaughn, who is currently showing work at the Augury House Gallery. Links to Devon's website and her social media can be found on the Augury House manual, which is on the Augury House website, as well as the Steam page for the Augury House game. The Augury House Gallery exhibition series is a monthly rotating exhibition, and the great thing about it is that it's really easy to submit to, and you can submit about just about anything you want. We take works that are old, that are new, that are in progress, and pretty much everything in between. And the mediums that we accept are photos, sound, audio, video, and 3D objects. If you, for instance, if you like drawing or if you like painting, you can simply take a picture or scan one of your art pieces and submit it like that. And you don't really have to worry if your work is a little rough looking, because we like it. We take anything and we're happy to include it in our gallery. All right, and if you're interested in submitting to the Augury House Gallery, please visit our website at augury.house/GCOLL, which is short for Gallery Collaboration. All right, and if you remember from earlier in this segment, we talked about how we would occasionally give little sneak peeks into some works that are in progress that may or may not make it into any official release. Today we have just one of those things for you. So the thing coming up is an improvised scene that is meant to be live streamed. And another little curveball on top of that is the live stream is interactive, meaning that if there'll be a small window of time within the performance where the audience can type a chat input and it will change something in the scene, which would then change the course of the improv between these two characters. So we'll go into a short little presentation of what this performance would kind of look like. It won't be the complete improvised performance, but more of a kind of a commentary of how it works and what we're thinking of it. Currently, where this project is lying, it's pretty low priority, but it was kind of nice to see that it worked and things like that. So it's definitely functional. It could definitely be done at, or presented at any given moment, or something similar. But for now, it's just kind of sitting in the pocket, throwing a little bit of dust. But that's why we have the radio. That's why we're dusting it off right now. And so without further ado, here is the cave scene. All right, welcome to the cave scene. So, ideally this would be live streamed, and the way this works is I have some special commands on my end that change things like camera angles, and we'll get into that in just a sec. So there are 6 cameras within here. This is the first camera. Hello. And this is the second camera. We also have close, so these cameras alternate when I press enter. Alternate, alternate, alternate. And then we also have a closer camera when I press the right shift button. Right shift, enter, enter, right shift. So it's pretty simple. It's very, very flexible for improv. And the fun thing is the way we're controlling the face is through an app called Live Face, which is it's a free iPhone app. Yeah, it's a free iPhone app. So, what I was saying is it'd be very easy to get, 2 people in a room, 2 of the apps up and running, and each person controlling one face. But since it is just me, currently, I'm controlling both faces. So, these are the cameras. And we also have dramatic pushing cameras that kind of look like this. So this is just using the backslash button. Whoa, up in person. And then the same thing happens over here, backslash. Whoa. What? So it's very dramatic. It's a little bit creepy on this guy because of his eyes, but what can you do? And so those are the 6 cameras. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And so now you're probably wondering about the interactive aspects, right? So we have special triggers. So say maybe the chat trigger would be, look at that. So you type, look at that, and what it would do is it would virtually press Q on my keyboard, and that Q would then trigger a sequence of events, right? So, one way to go about it is, if I had the look at that trigger available the entire time, then the issue with that is spam, and the trigger can kind of be called at an awkward time when we're not really expecting it. So, to kind of work around that issue, what I have is, I have a trigger on my keyboard, so if I hold the 1 down, then it opens up the option for the chat command to come in. So, if you type look at that, while I don't have 1 held down, then nothing will happen. But if I hold 1 down on my keyboard and someone types look at that, then you see that? Yeah, so there's a little bit of change behind that character. So using triggers in that way really opens up the ground for improv within this digital space, because I can be talking lines, and then when we get to a point where an event may or may not occur, we can simply hold down 1, wait for the command to occur or not, and then the improvisation will essentially, continue from there. But to kind of reset, to reset the scene, I'm going to give a basic overview of what this narrative was essentially looking like, or what we're thinking of this narrative for essentially. So, this character, the character with the weird eyes, this is the Augury House. This is me, but in my human body, which it's been taking, it's taken a lot of practice to kind of learn the controls of getting used to this weird body. It has, there's a lot of issues with it. It's growing a little bit of peach fuzz, as you can see. But the whole thing is that the mineral for me, for the Augury person, comes from a cave kind of like this. But the real issue is that I'm like a 5th generation Augury person. So, there was a lot before me. My ancestors lived in caves a lot similar to this, but I grew up in a lot different circumstances. So, my buddy here brought me to the cave, just kind of check it out, interested in getting to the roots. But, personally, me, from this Augury guy, I don't have a lot of roots. I don't really have a lot of connections with this place. So what's happening narratively wise is that homeboy here is trying to, educate me on the history of the Augury people, and he wants me to say a special keyword that comes from the, said by the Augury race will trigger a special reaction in one of these caves. And now I don't really have big investment being 5th generation Augury person into my whole history. Like my recent history has been more about, assimilating, making a name for myself within the digital space, and not necessarily, I'm past the cave thing, so I'm reluctant to say the keyword. I'm really not. I appreciate the effort made to get me to my hometown, but I don't know, I'm just not, I could care less. But the whole thing is that the improv would essentially get to a point where I would be prompted to say the keyword that would invite change within the cave. And now, while I would be reluctant to say the keyword, the chat could say it. And so when that time would come, I would hold down 1 to allow that chat command to come through, and once that chat command would come through, this rock would change, and when that rock would change, the improvisation between the 2 characters would kind of go based off of that. But of course, if that trigger is never called, no one ever types the command, then the improvisation would just kind of continue through, and the 2 characters would leave and return home as witnesses to nothing. So that's essentially the rundown of the cave scene that may or may not see the light of day again. This is a very low priority kind of scene. We have a lot on our plates in terms of, just the basic maintaining the Augury House and running the collaborations, making sure everyone has, cool exhibitions coming up. But if we ever get the time, if the interest is ever there, we always have this cave scene to pull back out of the pocket. And one other thing I was thinking of doing about this cave scene is this entire cave scene, as you see it, is offered for free. It's called Soul Cave, which you can find on the Epic Marketplace. If you weren't aware, we are developing with Unreal Engine, which is free to use. And this map is offered free on Epic. So, if anyone is ever... And these characters are free too. These are part of the MetaHumans, the MetaHuman packs, which is just, a free new character creator offered by Epic. So yeah, these are all free to use Epic assets. If anyone's interested in trying out a similar project space, send an email over or DM us. Our email is augury.house@gmail.com. But yeah, like the scripting for this kind of scene is very, very simple, very easy to do. Again, you know, all these assets are free, so if anyone wants to pick it up or try some scene like this on their own, we're welcome. We're always happy to share the resources. We also have the scripting, the Python script for the integration of the chat command into the Unreal Engine space. So yeah, it's a very, very, very easy setup. There's so many possibilities of where it can go, and right now we're just kind of excited about how this technology can be implemented for narrative and improvised scenes. So yeah, that is the cave scene. We are currently using a version of the scripting behind, like the scripting behind this small little project in the Augury House restaurant scene. So if you kind of want to see more of how these techniques can be implemented into, you know, other scenarios, come check out our Augury House restaurant, which runs every Thursday at 5 p.m. Pacific. And their chat commands not only change camera angles, but they also trigger live audio within the space. And if you're interested, you can also submit audio to be triggered within the space. The Augury House restaurant submits large swaths of audio samples. So currently we have over 200 individual samples and climbing. So if you want to be a part of the Augury House restaurant, please hit us up at ahrestaurantcollab@gmail.com, or you can also check out augury.house/RCOLL, which is short for Restaurant Collaboration, for more details on just the basic, you know, how to submit your audio, the restaurant menu, and so on. So yeah, that concludes the Augury House Radio episode 2. Thanks for tuning in.